Okay, welcome students, and we are moving on to the second lesson in the grade 11 syllabus. So, business and accounting studies, level examination, grade 11 student classes. So far we completed trade and supporting services, the first lesson, which was a like lengthy and bulkier lesson. So we did almost number of couple of weeks the first lesson, and it's available in the YouTube, so you can refer to them. The section wise, all the things are available. Transport services, communication services, insurance services, bank services. Each section wise, it is available. So if you want to revisit them, revise them, summarize them, it's available. Okay. So now today we are moving on to the second lesson, which is management. Okay, management. So in this lesson, we will be learning about introduction to the management, which is about the basics and what is management and so on, and then the functions of management. The functions of management include planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Okay, those four steps are the functions of management. So we already completed this lesson. Okay, trade and supporting lessons, we have already completed the lesson in full. So let's look at what is management. Okay, so current economic and social developments has resulted in a greater number of businesses that fulfill the expanding human needs and wants. These businesses operate within the expectations of achieving specific objectives while satisfying the human needs and wants. Although there are a large number of businesses, all businesses are not operated successfully. There are situations where some businesses are closed down due to their unsuccessful business operations. So today's world, now what has happened is compared to so many years back, humans' needs and wants have evolved immensely. So to cater them, people have built different businesses. So usually if it is a profit earning business, its main objective is to earn profits. Okay. While earning the profits, it also ensures that it maximizes the needs and wants of the customers, or else it maximizes the expectations of the customers and it meets the expectations of the customers. Okay. So even though we have a lot of businesses, and on the other hand, an environment where humans' needs and wants are evolved, or humans' needs and wants are also maximized, and the number is so big, we see not all the businesses are successful. ලෝකේ තියෙන හැම බිස්නස් එකක්ම සක්සස්ෆුල් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මිනිස්සුන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාව වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒ අවශ්‍යතාව වැඩි වුණ එකට කේට කරන්න බිස්නසස් හදලා තියෙනවා. ඒ වුණාට හැම බිස්නස් එකක්ම සක්සස්ෆුල් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට there are some businesses which are not even like making profits, and not just that, it may even generate losses. So when things are like that, what happens is some businesses are closed down. Okay, some businesses have to be closed down because they are not operating, or they are not generating a sufficient income and sufficient profit to run the business. Okay, so the success or the failure of a business depends on to the which extent business achieves its objective. අර මං කලින් කිව්වා වගේ business එකක main objective එක තියෙන්නේ earning profits and then satisfying their customer needs and wants. එතකොට business එකක success එක කොච්චරද කියන එක රඳා පවතින්නේ how well it meets the objectives of the business. Simply whether it is earning a profit, and on the other hand, do they keep their customers happy? එයාගේ customer happy තියනවා. එතකොට if a business is to achieve its expected objective, it has to use its resources productively. On the other hand, let's say that you want to achieve your objectives, then you should maximize the usage of your resources. In other terms, you should have a very good productivity. Let's say you have 10 employees. Those 10 employees, you should have a very good productivity. Okay, you should deploy them so as to generate profits. Okay, so as to like make the customers happy. Okay, your everything should be in a such a way so you meet your business objectives well. So if you cannot meet them, what happens is you will make losses and your business will be a failure. Okay. In general, the nature of the resources are that they are limited compared to the unlimited human wants. Business also face this limitedness of resources. Now, let's say, for example, money. Okay. Do a business have like tons of money? No, it's not the case. They don't have all the money in the world. They have a limited amount of money. When you have a limited amount of money, you should think to what thing that I should spend money. මම මොන දේටද මේ සල්ලි දාන්නේ කියන එක ගැන කල්පනා කරන්න ඕන. Okay, so you have to look at the productivity. When you have limited resources, let's say you have limited amount of water. When you have limited amount of water, you should identify how to use this water very well. So you will deploy it in a such a way so you're watering your plants only in a specific period of time. Okay, and even the drainage waters and other all this expelled water, you are recycling it, using it back. Okay, likewise, you have to use your resources very carefully. Okay, then only you can generate profits. So you are deploying your resources carefully so you can produce goods at a lower cost and you can sell the goods at a lower price so you can attract lot of customers. Likewise, productivity is matter. Since the resources such as labor, raw material, cash owned by a businesses are limited, business should have the ability to use such resources to obtain maximum benefits while minimizing the wastage. That's the thing I told you. Okay, let's say, for example, let's say you have a timber store. Okay, you have a timber store, and if you have a timber store, you should use your timber in a such a way that you have the maximized production. Okay, let's say there are two shops or two timber stores. Okay, and they cut the same tree and they make, let's say, one shop make 10 chairs, while the next shop make 13 chairs or 12 chairs. Which one is better? The better one is the shop which is making higher amount of chairs. අපි හිතමුකෝ ලීබඩු කඩයක් කියලා. ලීබඩු කඩයක් ඇවිල්ලා ඉවර වෙලා එයාලා හදන පුටු එක කඩයක් එකම ප්‍රමාණය ගහක් කප් කරලා ඉවර වෙලා එක ටිම්බර් ස්ටෝර් එකක් පුටු 10ක් හදිද්දි අනිත් එක ඒ ක්වොලිටි එකේම පුටු 12ක් හදනවා. අර 12ක් හදන කම්පැනි එක තමයි එහෙම නැත්නම් ටිම්බර් ස්ටෝර් එක තමයි හොඳ, because their productivity is high. ඒ වගේම කොච්චර වෙලාවක් ඇතුළතද හදන්නේ? එක ෂොප් එකක් හදන්න ගන්නවා මාසයක්, අනිත් ෂොප් එක හදනවා අපි හිතමු සති 3. එතකොට ඒ කියන්නේ එයාගේ ලේබර් කොච්චර දුරට එයා පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙනවද ප්‍රොඩක්ටිව්ලි? එක්කෙනෙක්ගේ ලේබර් වැඩ කරන්නේ තැන් වල ඉන්න, අනිත් එක්කෙනාගේ ලේබර් නෑ, හැම නෙමෙයි, අය වෙලාවට කන්න ඕනේ, වෙලාවට වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. Likewise. Okay, and cash. ඒ cash උත් එමයයි. මේ හැම දෙයක්ම productivity matters. Okay. So, since these are limited, businesses should have the ability to utilize those resources to obtain maximum benefits while minimizing the wastage. So, therefore, a business should always employ methods which enable it to use limited resources in effective manner. It means that businesses should aim to obtain a higher level of output with limited resources. In a business, this objective is achieved through management. එතකොට අපි මෙච්චර වෙලා මේ productivity එක ගැන කතා කරා. අපි කතා කරා efficiency එක ගැන. අපි කිව්වා business එකක් successful වෙන්න නම්, business එකක් තමන්ගේ objectives ටික fill කරගන්න නම් එයා තමන්ගේ ළඟ තියෙන labor, තමන්ගේ ළඟ තියෙන cash, තමන්ගේ ළඟ තියෙන raw material, ඒ වගේම තමන්ගේ ළඟ තියෙන හැම resource එකක්ම productivity එක වැඩිපුර. They should have a higher productivity as well as they should have a higher efficiency. Okay, only if you have a higher productivity and higher efficiency, okay, you can have a higher level of output and subsequently higher level of profit and higher level of customer satisfaction. And all of this is achieved through management. So that is the importance. So management is there to ensure you have your business operated in a such a way you have a higher level of productivity and you have a higher level of efficiency. Okay, so that is what management is. and let's look at what are the things that are being included in the management and what are the functions in the management and what is management. Okay. So management is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling the resources owned by a business in order to achieve objectives of a business efficiently and effectively. Management is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling the resources owned by a business in order to achieve objectives of a business efficiently and effectively. එතකොට මේක ඇවිල්ලා definition එකක්. You should remember this. You should memorize this. Okay. Effectiveness means using resources to achieve the expected objectives, and efficiency means using resources to obtain the maximum output from the minimum resource. ඒතර effective meaning කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Effective කියන්නේ ඔයා ඔයාගේ objective එක achieve කරගන්න. Effective කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ objective එක achieve කරගන්න. Efficiency එක කියන්නේ ඔයා ඔයාගේ resources ටික හොඳට පාවිච්චි කරනවා, so you get a maximum output from a minimum resources. Efficiency එක කියන්නේ you get a maximum output from a minimum resources. Okay. And on the other hand, effectiveness means you are achieving the expected objectives of the business. Okay. So let's take a couple of minutes and write down the note. Okay. I will read this out first and then you can write it down. So the main topic you have to write as management. So this is the second lesson. Okay, this is the main topic. And under that, you can write the subtopic Introduction to Management. As the world develops, more businesses are created to meet people's growing needs and wants. Every business operates with a specific objectives while aiming to satisfy these needs. However, not all businesses succeed. Some fail and close down because they cannot achieve their objectives. A business's success depends on how well it reaches its objectives. To succeed, businesses must use their resources wisely. Resources like labor, raw material, and money are limited, while human wants are unlimited. Because of this, business must make the most of what they have while reducing waste. The key to doing this is management. Okay, so take a couple of minutes and write down this note. Okay, then let's move on to the next slide. Introduction to management. The rest of the part. Management is the process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling a business resources to achieve its objectives effectively and efficiently. So when you write this, please highlight this. Okay, you can either underline it. Effectiveness means achieving the business objectives. Efficiency means getting the best result with the least resources. By managing resources properly, business can maximize their output and improve their chances of success. So take a couple of minutes and write this. Okay, so we studied about management as to definition of the management and effectiveness and efficiency. So let's see what are the functions in the management. Okay. So what is the management process? Management is a continuous process which consists of four main processes or four management functions. They include planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Okay. Four elements: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Each process of management can be introduced as follows. So we will be learning about these four management process. Okay. So initially we shall know there are four things in the management process. So today we will learn that. And in the next week, we will be learning about what is planning, what is organizing, what is leading, and what is controlling. Okay. So let's take a couple of minutes and write down this note. So you can write it, management is a process of planning, organizing, leading, and controlling a business resource to achieve its objectives effectively and efficiently. And accordingly, management is a continuous process which consists of four main process or management functions. They are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Okay. So take a couple of minutes and write this down. So we are studying about management process. So we studied about management, what is management, and now we are studying about the management process. So management is a continuous process which has mainly four processes, okay, or four main functions. So they are planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So each process of management can be introduced as follows. So we will learn in detail as to what is planning, what is organizing, what is leading, and what is controlling. So this is what management is. Management is these main four processes. Firstly, you have to plan it, then you have to organize this according to your plan, then you have to lead it. Okay, whatever you designed, you have to, whatever you organize, you have to lead it, and as well you have to control it. Okay, so planning. Planning is the process of determining the objectives of a business and determine the activities to be achieved via these objectives. Okay. So in planning, you will be determining the objectives of business and you will be determining the activities that you want to achieve with these objectives. So for example, let's say business is constructing and selling houses and plan to earn profit by the selling quality houses to its consumer. Okay. So in order to achieve this objective, following activities has to be planned. දැන් අපි planning කියලා මොකක්ද? Planning කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි තමන් determine කරන්න ඕනේ මේවා තමයි මගේ objectives. Okay, it's the process of determining objectives of a business. Determining what are my objectives and and determining the activities you want to do to achieve these objectives. On one hand, you have to determine the objectives. Okay, on one hand, you have to determine the objectives, and on the other hand, what you have to do is you have to determine the activities. Okay, you have to determine the objectives and activities. Okay. So for example, businesses constructing and selling houses plan to earn profit by selling quality houses to its consumers. Okay. So in order to achieve this objective, the following activities can be planned. Determining how the construction and selling will be carried out. Okay. මේවා තමයි activities. Determine how this construction and selling is carried out. Are we going to deploy our own staff? Or are we going to subcontract it to another contractor and do it? Okay, that is what I have to determine the required resources and employees. Am I going to do it with the locally supplied resources or am I going to import it? Okay, am I going to uh, employ employees from the organization internally or am I going to contract someone? Likewise, determine how to obtain the required resources. Okay, am I going to ask the let's say I am going to build a house, there is a custom, I am the construction company and there is a customer. Am I going to ask customer to give the resources like bricks and everything, or am I going to supply the necessary raw material? Likewise, you have to determine what are the activities. Okay, so planning is the process of determining the objectives of the business and determine the activities to achieve this objective. So the objective is, now what is the objective? A business constructing and selling houses. Plan to objective is to earn a profit by selling quality houses to its consumers. Okay, that is the objective. So in order to achieve this objective, you have to do few activities which are determining how to determine how the construction and selling will be carried out, determine the required resources and employees, and determining how to obtain the required resources. Okay, that is what planning is. Okay, then we can write down the note. Okay, so planning is the process of determining the objectives of a business and determine the activities to achieve these objectives. For example, a business constructing and selling houses plan to earn profits by selling quality houses to its consumers. Okay, so you can underline plan to earn profit by selling quality houses to its consumers. Okay, and then in order to achieve these objectives, following activities can be planned. What are those activities? Determine how construction and selling will be carried out, determining the required resources and employees, and determining how to obtain the required resources. Okay, so those are the four activities that can be planned. Okay, so you can take a couple of minutes and write this. Okay. Okay, so we learned about planning, and now we are going to learn about the organizing part. Okay, so these are the four management functions or four processes that you have to follow in management. Okay. Okay. Organizing. So organizing is the process of distributing required resources, job roles, and tasks in order to implement planned activities to achieve the objectives of the business. In order to implement a plan mentioned in the above example, the activities can be organized as follows. Appointing managers responsible for construction and sales activities of a business, allocating employees for each section and required resources to both managers and employees, allocating employees for each section and required resource to both managers and employees. Okay, so now we learned about planning. In planning, we learned we have to set an objective and we have to identify the activities that are required to do these objectives, okay, or achieve these objectives. And then organizing. So in organizing, what you have to do is you have to distribute the required resources, job roles, and tasks in order to implement the planned activities and to achieve the objectives of business. So there, what you do is you are allocating your resources. ඔයාගාව resources, you allocate it. You are deciding how you are going to do it. Okay, you are organizing it. You are taking out, these are the job roles I want. These are the tasks that I want to allocate to these people. Okay, and these are the resources I have to give them, and you are doing this for what? To implement the planned activities. So you are distributing required resources, job roles, and tasks to different people, different, maybe let's say different units, to achieve the planned objectives and planned activities. Okay, for example, let's say appointing managers responsible for construction and sales activities. That is a part of organizing. Okay, so you are appointing managers, you are distributing job roles, and then allocating employees for each section and required resources. Employees la mechare ganak employees dana අපි දානවා construction වලට masons la let's say masons la මෙච්චර ගාණක් ඕනේ. ඊට පස්සේ වඩු වැඩ කරන carpenters la මෙච්චර ගාණක් ඕනේ. Right, then let's say some steel workers who are doing steel work, I need this much of employees and I need to allocate this much of resources, maybe money, maybe material. So I'm planning it. I'm planning how to allocate these resources. Okay, so that's it. So we will write down the note. Organizing. Organizing is the process of distributing required resources, job roles, and tasks in order to implement the planned activities to achieve the objectives of a business. Okay. In order to implement the plan mentioned in the above example, the activities can be organized as follows. Appointing managers responsible for construction and sales activities of the business, allocating employees for each section and required resource to both managers and employees, allocating employees and then allocating required resources for both managers and employees. Okay, so you can take a couple of minutes and write this. Okay, then let's move on to the next slide. So then we have the fourth management function or fourth management process, that is leading. So first you planned it, then you organized it, now you have to lead it. Okay, leading is the process of directing human resources appropriately when implementing the planned process. Okay, they should be led by giving the required information and instruction and motivating them to do the relevant activity. So what are the things that you have to be sort of like giving when you are leading? You have to give the information. Okay, you have to give them the relevant information, and then you have to give the instructions, and then you have to motivate them. Okay, so when you are a manager one day, you have to give your subordinates the relevant information. Okay, this is what you have to do. Okay, these are the things that you can use to do what you have to do. Okay, and then you have to do the instruction. Okay, you have to do this like this. Okay, this is what you have to do. Okay, you have to give the instruction, and then you have to motivate them. So if you do this, I will reward you, and the importance of doing it. Likewise, you have to motivate them. So the leading process of the above mentioned example can be implemented as follows. Production manager and sales manager providing the required information and instruction to the employees. Motivating employees to do their jobs appropriately by maintaining good professional relationship with them. So how do you motivate? By giving them right professional relationship. So you are not scolding them, you are not harassing them. Okay, you are clearly communicating the information, and you are clearly guiding them, giving them instruction, and with that you are motivating them. Okay, so you can write the note. I will read it out and you can write it. Leading is the process of directing human resources appropriately when implementing the plan process. They should be led by giving the required information and instruction and motivating them to do relevant activities. The leading process of above mentioned example can be implemented as follows. Production manager and sales manager providing the required information and instruction to their employees. Motivating employees to do their jobs appropriately by maintaining good professional relationships with them. Okay. So take a couple of minutes and write it. Okay, then let's move on to the next slide. Okay, controlling. So that is the final step. Controlling is the process of finding out whether business activities are implemented as planned, and if not, identified errors and taking the necessary measures to correct them. The controlling process of the above mentioned can be done as follows. Finding out whether the houses are constructed within the expected quality. Finding out whether those houses have been sold as planned. If a construction and selling have not been carried out as planned, finding out reasons for that and planning necessary measures to avoid such errors. Okay. So we are studying about the management process. So we studied first we told you have to first we told you have to plan it. Okay, and then you have to organize it, and then you have to lead it, and then finally you have to control it. Okay, so in controlling, what you have to do is you have to see. Now you set out the plan. Okay, you set objectives, and you design, or you decided, okay, these are the activities that you have to do. Okay, that part is already done, and then you organized it. Okay, you allocated required resources, relevant job roles, and relevant employees, and all that. And then you came to the part of planning, organizing, and leading. Okay, giving the right information, right instructions, and then right motivation. And now you are in the final part where you're controlling. Here, what you do is like you set out a plan. Okay, you set out, okay, these are the activities, and then you allocated the resources, and you gave a certain level of leadership as well. And now the things are going ahead. And now you are seeing at the process and you are looking, okay, I set the plan like this, and these are the activities, these are the objectives, okay, these are what I wanted to do. And now the process is flowing. Okay. So what you want to figure out is, okay, are things happening as planned? Are things happening as planned? Or are something else happening? Now you are tracking down. So you are finding out whether things are happening as planned, or if something is going wrong, then you are rectifying the errors. Okay, you are figuring out what has happened erroneously and you are correcting it. Have you not allocated required resources? Have you not sort of given the leadership properly? Okay, have you not given the relevant instruction and information? Likewise, there may be certain gaps, and now you are filling that gaps. Okay, so in this example, let's say what are the things they have done? Finding out whether houses are constructed within the expected quality. අපි බලන houses expected quality එකද තියෙනවද? Are there any cracks? Okay, are there any errors? Likewise, okay. Then finding out whether those houses have been sold as planned, and are sales targets being met, and are sales prices being met, quantity and price. Okay, and if construction and selling have not been carried out as planned, finding out reason for that. Now let's say houses are not finished as expected. Okay, they are behind the schedule, and houses are not being sold. Okay, then you have to find out what are the reasons. Why have you not received relevant material? Have you not received relevant labor? Likewise, you are going to find out the reasons for that, and then planning necessary measures to avoid such errors. Okay, so if you have done an error, let's say you have not allocated required labor. Okay, then you are going to allocate the required amount of labor. Likewise. Okay, okay, then take a couple of minutes and write this. I will read this out so you can write it. Okay, controlling is the process of finding out whether the business activities are implemented as planned, and if not, identifying errors and taking necessary measures to correct them. The controlling process of above mentioned example can be done as follows: finding out whether houses are constructed with the expected quality, finding out whether those houses has been sold as planned, and if construction and selling has not been carried out as planned, finding out the reasons for that, and then planning the necessary measures to avoid such errors. Okay, so take a couple of minutes and write this, and with that we have finished the lesson. Okay, we have finished the second lesson. Okay, introduction to management. So we firstly we look at what is management. Management is the process of planning, organizing, leading and controlling the resources owned by business in order to achieve objectives of a business efficiently and effectively. And then we learned what are these steps in detail: planning, organizing, leading and controlling. Okay, so we firstly learned about planning, and then organizing, and then leading, and finally controlling. Okay, so with that we wrap off this lesson, and we'll see you in the next lesson.